I'm Merely Caruso. It's Monday, August 18th. Today, standing their ground.
No matter what the fines, no matter what comes our way, we have the constitutional right to strike, and we will uphold those rights.
Air Canada flight attendants remain on picket lines, stranding thousands of passengers. How long will it last? Also today, lasting scars.
And picked my head up, realized her arm was covered in blood.
A Winnipeg man's long recovery after he was injured in a machete attack. Plus, unfair at the fair.
It was their understanding that we would be coming to do promotions on cat and dog adoptions, and then we got asked to leave.
Why the Winnipeg Humane Society was kicked out of a rural Manitoba fair. Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us. Air Canada flight attendants remain on the picket lines today, defying a federal back-to-work order, an order the Canadian Union of Public Employees calls unconstitutional, leaving thousands of Canadians grounded. Picketeers were out in full force at airports all across Canada, despite an order from the Canada Industrial Relations Board for the strike to end by noon today. Air Canada estimates the flights of roughly 500,000 customers have been cancelled because of the walkout. CUPE's national president apologized today to anyone stranded without a return flight.
These workers, who are mostly women, have waited too long to have their issues addressed. They have been subject to unfair treatment and exploitation every day on the job for far too long. They have waited over 10 years to have their voices heard. They waited through COVID, they waited through record high inflation, and this is their moment to bargain.
Picket lines also continued today at Winnipeg Richardson International Airport. The head of the Manitoba CUPE chapter says Canadians are on the workers' side, and the walkout will continue despite possible fines or even jail time.
We're making a stance and taking a stance here today and through these next few days to say we have the right to strike. We don't agree with the announcement. We don't agree with the, the Section 107 that's been delivered. We have the right to strike, and that's what we're going to do, and we're going to hold this line for these workers.
Well, the pickets in Winnipeg and across Canada continued. Air Canada CEO Michael Rousseau says he's disappointed where things stand.
Again, it's very, very disappointing from our perspective, especially when it's unlawful, and the impact to our customers. I mean, obviously, people want to go someplace. The business meetings, we move cargo, so we do a lot of things for the Canadian economy, and let alone have move people to their vacations and seeing their loved ones. This has been devastating for our customers.
Rousseau hopes Air Canada can resume flights tomorrow. The company has asked travelers not to go to the airport unless they have a ticket with another airline. Are you happy with your life in Winnipeg? The city has released the results of this year's annual resident satisfaction survey, and it appears Winnipeggers are largely satisfied. But safety and road repairs do remain big concerns. Let's bring in CTV's John Hendricks now to break down some of the main takeaways. So, John, let's start with what Winnipeggers think the city is getting right.
Merely, of those surveyed, the majority say they're satisfied with their life and city services, with some exceptions. 86% of respondents say their quality of life is either good or very good. As you can see, that number is largely on par with previous years and has gone up for the first time in 4 years. And when it comes to customer service, 3/4 of Winnipeggers feel the city is doing a good job. Snow removal also got a passing grade, continuing a year-over-year trend. Now, when it comes to city services, things get a little more complicated. Again, the majority, here 72%, are very or somewhat satisfied. But that's also the 5th straight year of decline. And a closer look reveals why. satisfaction with rush hour traffic has plunged. The condition of major streets also down, and residential streets is even lower. And ease of getting around by transit has also dropped below 50%. And it's worth noting, this survey was done before the city overhauled the transit system. And then there's safety. 58% of people feel safe walking around their own neighborhood, the lowest level in at least 5 years. And when it comes to downtown, only 12% feel safe walking alone at night. 600 Winnipeg adults took part in the survey between May 7th and 18th. It can't be assigned a margin of error because the participants weren't randomly selected.
So, John, are Winnipeggers likely then to encourage others to move here?
Merely slightly more than 1/4 of respondents say they would definitely recommend our city as a place to live, which is 8 points higher than last year. Now, what does the mayor think of these survey results? Well, I'll show you Scott Gillingham's reaction on CTV News at 6.
All right, looking forward to it. Thanks, John. 3 fires across the city kept Winnipeg fire crews busy over the weekend. The first call came late Saturday night. Firefighters were called to a high-rise building in the 100 block of Donald Street. The blaze was quickly brought under control within about a half an hour. 2 hours later, though, another fire call. This time it was a garage in the 300 block of Riverton Avenue in Elmwood. In a media release, the city said damage estimates were not available, but at the scene Sunday morning, CTV News found multiple vehicles destroyed. One of the owners of a burned vehicle did not want to be identified, but told CTV News a car with nitro fuel exploded and the fire from it spread to the garage. The third fire was in a commercial building in the 200 block of Gary Street Sunday morning. That fire was under control within about 2 hours. All 3 of these fires are now under investigation and no injuries were reported. Investigators are trying to determine the origin of skeletal remains found in northern Manitoba. The remains were discovered Saturday in the community of Tatasqueyak Cree Nation on the shoreline in the Split Lake area. The lake has seen low water levels recently, making the remains visible in the sand. Mounties say the skeletal remains are historical. They called in an anthropologist to find out how old the bones are and how they ended up there. That investigation is now underway. Manitoba will begin offering a single-dose immunization for respiratory syncytial virus this fall. Currently, the RSV immunoprophylaxis program for high-risk infants uses a multi-dose antibody treatment. But starting October 1st, a provincial spokesperson tells CTV the program will begin offering a long-lasting monoclonal antibody that lasts a full season. The switch comes more than a year after Canada's National Advisory Committee recommended the switch. RSV season typically runs from late fall to early spring, with most cases between December and March. A 13-year-old boy is dead after a shooting in northern Manitoba. RCMP say officers with the Cross Lake Detachment responded to reports of a shooting at a home in Picket Cree Nation late Saturday afternoon. Mounties were advised a 13-year-old had been shot and was transported to the community's nursing station where he was pronounced dead. Police have arrested a 17-year-old boy and seized a firearm. The Winnipeg Humane Society was asked to leave a rural Manitoba agricultural fair for setting up an animal rights display.
It was their understanding that we would be coming to do promotions on cat and dog adoptions, and then we got asked to leave.
The Humane Society has been traveling to Manitoba summer festivals with the display, a life-sized pig gestation crate, the type used on some Manitoba hog farms. The display also invites people to enter a crate for themselves to experience what it's like for confined animals. The Humane Society says the display is meant to spark conversations about ethically raising livestock.
And it didn't mean that they always agreed with what we were saying, but we got to hear their perspective. They got some information and education, and they got to hear about the animal welfare issues and concerns that we have with gestation crates. And the same was occurring in Hanover up until the organizers came and asked us to leave.
Hanover Ag Fair organizers released a statement on Facebook saying it, quote, accepted the request for a vendor space under the assumption it would be promoting pet adoption programs. However, that's not the display presented. Therefore, they were asked to leave. CTV News has reached out to the fair for more comment. We've yet to hear back. Manitoba sits at 17 medals at the Canada Games as they continue in Newfoundland this week. It was a quiet weekend as the men's beach volleyball team came in fourth, falling to Ontario in the bronze medal match Saturday. Team Toba softball, cycling, tennis, sailing, and basketball teams were also in action. There are no events today, but tomorrow, Manitoba athletes will hit the court, greens, and track in golf, box lacrosse, baseball, athletics, and volleyball. We wish them all kinds of luck. All right, let's bring in Colleen Brady now and get a first look at our Skywatch evening forecast. Kind of a gloomy, damp start to the work week.
Yeah, the rain just started late yesterday afternoon in Winnipeg, and it just kept on coming and coming. So it was a Sunday soaking for sure here in Winnipeg, but across much of the south. We were hoping to see a bit more clearing. Then put it this way, grudgingly, the clouds are starting to clear from west to east. But as they do, they will help to facilitate fog developing overnight. So that could reduce visibility, and then very different conditions tomorrow than today. I'll tell you all about that and a look ahead to the rest of your week. But for now, let's take a look through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. Gray out there, cloudy, 21 degrees with a humidex. It feels like 27. Light winds out of the north-northeast. The pressure is rising and the humidity is 85%. Out in traffic, a live look at, drum roll please, McPhillips. Traffic moving well there, but stall in a bad spot. Fermor at St. Mary's. The stalled vehicle is blocking the eastbound curb lane. So for folks heading on to Fermor, do expect delays in the eastbound direction.
They are a very effective weapon. They are large and they are sharp.
Winnipeg has seen a string of machete attacks. How teens are getting their hands on these weapons after the break.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
Get Winnipeg's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
A Winnipeg man is on the road to recovery after being attacked with machete. And while he works to resume his career in the arts, the incident has prompted questions about the availability of the edged weapons. CTV's Alex Carpa reports.
So here's my little studio area. It's a little messy. But
Eric Laferriere is big into the arts. He is a DJ, producer, and is a tattoo artist on the side.
if it's art, I've probably done it one way or another.
But back in the fall of 2023, his life changed in a matter of seconds. He was randomly attacked by someone wielding a machete outside of his apartment.
Put my head down on my girlfriend's arm and picked my head up and realized her arm was covered in blood. And that's when I was like, why is my head bleeding? And looked down and my hand was all flapped open.
And it's been a long journey for Laferriere. He still doesn't have 100% mobility on his left arm.
I had to relearn how to draw. They originally told me that I had 10% to get even 5% of my movement back.
There have been a string of machete attacks here in Winnipeg over the last few months. Most recently, 3 teens were charged after they attacked a 14-year-old boy with a machete at a city mall. But the question is, how did they get their hands on this weapon? In 2024, the Manitoba government introduced legislation to regulate the sale of long-bladed weapons like machetes. Criminologist Frank Cormier says while legislation is a good thing, there's still a lot of weapons around.
You could buy them in discount stores, hardware stores, just about anywhere, and they were quite cheap. And unfortunately, they are a very effective weapon. They are large and they are sharp.
As for Laferriere, he is taking his recovery day by day.
It's a lot more mental healing now than it is physical, because this is the best it'll ever be.
In the meantime, Laferriere says he will continue to work hard to revive his career in the arts. Alex Carpa, CTV News, Winnipeg.
If you go down to the woods today, you're in for a big surprise. Details about this year's Teddy Bears Picnic coming up in Spotlight.
Spotlight, sponsored by the Casinos of Winnipeg, presenting Led Zepp again, the premier tribute.
Calling Brady back now for Spotlight, and we begin with a popular family tradition returning to Assiniboine Park.
That's right. The Teddy Bears Picnic returns in just a few weeks. The Children's Hospital Foundation Teddy Bears Picnic is set for Sunday, September 7th, and will feature more than 20 tents of activities, including the ever-popular Dr. Good Bear Clinic, where your stuffed friend will be triaged and treated. Kids can also get hands-on with science, make a craft, or take a picture with the Grey Cup. The main stage will include performances by Heather's Pretty Parties, Mason Hoop Dancers, James Culleton, and more. This year, you can also pre-book your appointment in the clinic, science tent, and for breakfast, but spots for those are limited. However, walk-ins merrily are still welcome, of course.
Well, it was a weekend of Filipino fun in the Maples.
That's right. The Manitoba Filipino Street Festival was held at Maples Multiplex grounds over the weekend. Organizers said non-stop entertainment both inside and outside the stage were offered. A fireworks display, food vendors, and cultural displays were there. 9 cultural dances were offered on stage 1. Stage 2 offered live music of more than 10 artists, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning both days. 20 food vendors were there to fill the hungry stomachs of everyone in attendance. Food for kids, rather. Bouncy castles were there for them to conquer. Winnipeg Jets, Blue Bombers, and Sea Bears were also there to present, to join the community.
The Royal Aviation Museum hosted a visitor from the Winnipeg Police.
Merrily, meet Air One. It is an Airbus H-120 helicopter from the Flight Operations Unit of Winnipeg Police. The helicopter joined the service in 2011 and has been helping out search and rescue, surveillance, and emergency response. Flight crew from the unit were present at the museum to explain the helicopter.
We like to help them out by searching large areas for them that several cars might have to be assigned to. It might be something that we can look over for them in a matter of seconds or minutes.
Other 2 visiting aircraft over the summer were P-551 Mustang and Air Tractor AT-802.
I have no idea what those look like, but pretty cool that you can see inside the police helicopter.
Absolutely.
It's kind of neat.
It is.
Always see it overhead, but
now you get to see inside.
That's right. All right. Thanks, Colleen.
You're welcome. And your Monday Blues with American Ninja Warrior at 7, followed by The Rainmaker at 9, and E-Talk wrapping up the night at 10:30, all right here on CTV. A live look down at Portage Avenue, east and westbound in front of Polo Park. Traffic moving smoothly there. Cloudy, 21 degrees. A very different day ahead in weather in Winnipeg and across much of the province. I'll show you how coming up.
Women's clothing provided by RW & Company. Salon services provided by S&T Spa Salon. CTV Skywatch weather brought to you by South Beach Casino and Resort. Visit southbeachcasino.ca.
Colleen Brady back now with more on your gloomy Skywatch forecast. Any more rain headed our way?
No, actually just the opposite. An upper ridge of high pressure merrily from the west is going to clear out the sky. I was saying earlier it was doing it a little grudgingly so, but we're starting to see some clearing now in the western half of the province. But throughout the next few hours, look for the sky to clear out at least to various extents across the province tonight. And really, over the last few days, much of Manitoba has had a much needed soaking. Of course, we had all that rain that came through Winnipeg last night, and other parts of the south. The north got all that rain last week. So there's a lot of moisture at the surface. Winds are going to be light tonight. And when you factor in that clearing, there's a good chance we'll see fog developing overnight. So that could reduce visibility if you have any overnight driving. But even into the commute tomorrow morning, there is the potential for fog. So watch out for that. So you can see what I mean, like a curtain being peeled back as that ridge of high pressure coming in from the south is going to clear out the clouds from west to east over the course of the next few hours. A little bit of scattered shower activity popping up overnight in the northeast, but not too much. We get into Tuesday morning, some cloud, but again, the expectation is that there will be fog in many areas, including here in Winnipeg. Lots of sunshine, or increasingly so, and under that ridge, we're going to bring the heat back once again. Temperatures getting up into the upper 20s here in the south, 27, 28 degrees in many places, and by this time tomorrow, late afternoon, we'll see temperatures in the low to mid 20s across the north, and again, it will be another humid day. Overnight, not a lot happens. A few scattered showers across northern Manitoba. as we get into a very early Wednesday morning, that's when we see more organized rain start to pop up in the southwest, and it will start its advance both north and east throughout the course of the morning hours. So we could see some of those showers make their way to Winnipeg. So for tonight, the expectation again is fog overnight, otherwise partly cloudy, light winds. 16 is the overnight low, and then tomorrow 26 our high, mix of sun and cloud, winds light out of the northwest at about 10 kilometers an hour. The UV index for Tuesday, we haven't talked about this in a while, is 7 or high for the city. Then we look at the long range forecast, still very warm, even warmer on Wednesday, 28 degrees, mix of sun and cloud during the day. Now there's a good chance that we'll see some showers come through as early as Wednesday evening, continuing into the night hours, maybe even thunderstorms. Showers or thunderstorms quite possible on Thursday, up to 25 degrees. Sunny and 21 Friday, mix of sun and cloud through the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, similar daytime highs to 18 and 19 degrees. You see that one cool night, though, at least relatively speaking, Sunday night, with a low of 7 degrees. To our weather photos we go. This first one takes us up to the Sandy Hook area. This was yesterday. Nadia said the clouds looked beautiful overhead. As you can see, I don't know the winds can look beautiful. This guy is a Caspian tern flying over Lake Winnipeg at Hillside Beach. That photo was taken by Seth. Email us your photos to winnipegweather@ctv.ca.
Thanks, Colleen. Families in North Winnipeg's Shaughnessy Park neighborhood now have a new place to flex their basketball skills. Officials from federal, provincial, and municipal governments gathered at Norwood Community Center on Burroughs Avenue to officially open the new basketball court. The project also includes new playground equipment, seating areas, asphalt pathways, and other park features.
This court and this playground will give our kids a safe space to run, laugh, and learn. For families, this is a welcoming place to gather, and for everyone, it's an affordable option, something that is so deeply needed in the inner city of Winnipeg.
The court also features a mural with the word welcome in 4 Indigenous languages. The mural was painted in collaboration with the local artists and Sisler High School students and alumni. Looks great.
It's going to be a very popular place, I think.
Especially this week. Temperatures will be good.
Looks good.
A little bit of time before school's back.
Make the most of it.
Exactly. All right, that does it for us this hour. Don't go far, though. We'll be back at 6 o'clock with much more local news. Hope to see you then.